can't believe this is happening. And it's Captain America Brave New World is going through reshoots, minimum 22 days. But they have confirmed Giancarlo Esposito, Gus Fring himself, whoever he is in The Boys. I forget what his character name is in there. He's in Moff Gideon and The Mandalorian. He is in a Marvel movie now. He is filming currently. He loves a big gun. He loves his knives. I've also heard from people on set he has an axe under one of those trench coats in there. Mike, who's he playing?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. No one does.
and I feel like this spins off like a whole other conversation of I just want to know what's happening to this movie. That's all I want to know. This is a first for us on the MCU track, where I was just talking about it last week, where we need some sort of like highlighted timeline that shows projects that have kind of been infected or trace infected by Bob Chapek's chair at the Disney Corporation. And unfortunately, this movie is one of those, and they are doing their best to fix it. And we've never seen triage like this before. Yeah. Kevin Feige has been praised in his career at Marvel for being able to find the movie in the edit, which is one of the things that he does best, and also subsequently makes the some of the TV offerings not as great on Disney Plus, because you can't really do that with TV. Right. You got to plan a lot more ahead of time, a lot more hours of content over there. But this is the first time where it seems like this movie cannot be saved in the editing because we just need to add more. When you edit something, you're primarily taking stuff out. I suppose there could be, maybe shots that you thought you just can't change the story that much.
There's minimal reshoots to add little things in, right? But 22 days of reshoots is not a small task. Adding a high value big name actor in a brand new unknown role, that's a huge change, right? We've got another one we're going to talk about here. They've changed the entire look of an actor who was already in this movie, which again, according to reports, was screened last year even. So this movie is being retooled entirely, it seems like. Maybe not from the ground up, but like this is kind of like a Daredevil Reborn scenario, right? But in the film situation where like we've got to spend maybe 51% of this movie needs redone here. Yeah.
And it's like everyone out there has watched a movie before. You if you don't know of it off the top of your head, you felt it. There's a structure to every film that you've watched. And if you start to pull pieces out, you have to put pieces back in, but also make sure they connect. It's like one big puzzle. So I don't know if we'll ever quite know this, how much of the movie has changed from when it was, originally assembled. But I just desperately want to know how much is going into this. It's so, it's such a large scale too, right? I'm sure things like this have happened with other movies before, but when you have such a high profile project like this, and we know a lot is on the line for Marvel at the moment, right? I'm just curious.
And I would even say this is maybe one of those movies that requires like a documentary later, right? Like, a year or two after it's out. It's like, hey, how do we get to Brave New World? How do we go from New World Order to Brave New World kind of thing? And I would love to know as well. I don't think it's going to bother me right now. I think this is a lot of work, and they're not going to do a lot of work to make a mid-movie at the end of the day. So it sounds like they've got a good idea of what they need to do to retool it. They're coming in and doing a bunch of filming. But, the thing I was going to say here, Esposito, his role, he's not just in this movie. He's apparently also going to appear in a TV series, according to him. Possibly even before he shows up in Brave New World. So maybe he'll be in Daredevil Born Again, because we know they're working on that right now as well, before it comes out.
I guess that could be a possibility.
One of the characters I told Mike, the rumor is not a rumor. People are online speculating out the ass on this. So a character named Cutthroat, who has ties to the Serpent Society, who we reported on being in this movie before. And honestly, you've seen articles, Mike, online. Are they even still in this movie, right? Why do we need the Serpent Society in this movie? And did they take them out to make it better? Well, one of the things that we're going to talk about is one of the characters that's showing up. Actually, we'll just do it now. Diamondback, played by Rosa Salazar. She was on set photos last year, 2 years ago, with blonde hair. She's now in with bright pink hair, Mike. The pinkest hair I've ever seen in my life. gives Nicki Minaj a run for her money with how pink this is now on set filming in a comic book accurate look, because Diamondback in the comic books has pink hair. So I've also included the old link so you guys can compare it to that in our show notes, because she still got the arm tattoos. So they have really, they're even bringing characters back who've already filmed all their scenes and giving them new scenes with new looks. So it's not just, hey, we did a script rewrite. We also did some visual changes on this movie as well, right? Like visually, we're changing things to make it better.
It's just so crazy. Just imagine any Marvel movie that you've watched, maybe outside some of the larger ones that just are have tons of characters in them, right? Just imagine any movie and then just plop a new character in it. Drag and drop Carlos Esposito into Captain America Winter Soldier, right? Yeah. You can't just add a character and put them in a room, right? You can't just have a cutaway shot to him. Like, people have to talk to them. He has to have conversations with other people. There's action sequences where if he's throwing a knife or throwing an axe, it's got to hit somebody that's already been cast in the movie, right?
So
I'm just so curious.
I'm going to disagree with you, because that's what they did with Hawkeye in the first Thor movie. He was not in that movie, and if you watch, he's just in one of those little bird's nests or whatever, sitting up there watching Thor the whole time. If you go back and watch that movie, Hawkeye was added in post-production.
I could see that.
I'm not saying that's a good example, but they could add him in, but you're not going to be adding, you can't just, to your point, what you're trying to say is they're not going to put a character in who has dialogue and talking tone without refilming the other people reacting to that dialogue, right?
Yeah, it just seems like we're just gonna have a totally different movie here. It just makes me nervous,
No, it makes me unnervous based on how bad it was before. On reports, people are like, no, I don't like this. This is not good. It's got Chapek fingerprints all over it. Let's just retool it and do something different. They weren't doing this, and they were just like, oh, we're just gonna fix the editing. Then I would be very, very concerned. But to push it back a whole year and to do this much, I'm excited to see what they're doing with it. But the reason we have this is they're filming outside in Atlanta with the police chasing the Falcon. There's car explosions. There's hand-to-hand fight sequences. Carlos Esposito's there. So it's not like he's just in on a street being filmed. He's actually doing the action scenes as well with this. So hopefully we find out who he is. I mean, once they start showing set photos, they're like, okay, I guess we're going to have to announce somebody sooner or later for the movie. So we'll see if we get anything. We are now officially in June, and you know what happens the month after June? Comic-Con.
July?
Yes. San Diego Comic-Con is in July, so we'll see if maybe they bring some of the stuff there, Mike. And D23, do you know when D23 is? Is that this year, or is it over?
Yeah, they have one. There's one happening this year.
Okay. What month is that in? Do you know?
August, maybe?
August 9th.
August, September?
Yeah, August 9th in Anaheim. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll see if they maybe save some of this stuff for D23 along the way as well. But
could be.
We'll know. Moving on, this is the rumor zone. This is not as hard and fast as we just talked about, but Thunderbolts, the rumor is that